our mm, lesson today, and it's about the Python. We will be dealing with very basics of Python. Maybe for some people, it's very preliminary, but for some people, maybe that's very uh, mm, mm, interesting. Um, there are two types of way that we have to proceed with Python learning. One is very basic of learning Python, and another is actually a bit specific Python to the data analytics side. You can use Python in different areas and aspects of um, um, tech sector. You can use it in developing softwares. You can use it in data analytics, data science, machine learning, and you can use it in different sectors of application development as well. So we will be focusing on Python from data science and machine learning and artificial intelligence point of view. We will be starting with very basic of Python, and we will be proceeding toward the data analytics side of the Python data science, and we will be building the foundations to proceed with the machine learning and proceed with the application of generative AI, artificial intelligence. And at the end of this course, if there will be sufficient timing, we will be in the position to create some chatbots, custom chatbots as well, during our course in machine learning in AI. And this is how we are building the foundation to learn Python. Only with such sessions, very limited amount of time sessions, you cannot learn Python. You have to have your own resources, study standalone, and learn Python and practice it. Um, Python is similar to any language. So whenever you're learning a language, so you're starting from ABC and from alphabet, then proceeding, phrasing, and then grammar, and then the main point of part of that every language is that you have to talk, you have to speak. If you don't speak, your speaking skills will not be at the level that someone will say, okay, yeah, he understands the language. So speaking is one of the interesting things in each in every language. But in Python, speaking is actually writing it and practicing it. So um, right now, currently in tech sector with the generative AI solutions that there are available in the market, Gemini, ChatGPT, and all these things, so you can easily do coding. You just ask it, it will code for you, and you will just copy the code and paste it somewhere, and that's very easy thing. And the bad side of this aspect is that in the tech sector, everyone knows in the position to distinguish which code is written by the machine and which code is written by the human. So machine is doing very well in comparison to the human beings, but still, human machine is not in the position to conquer human beings yet. So human beings are in the position to understand which code is written by machine and which code is written by a human. So be careful about that. I don't ask you to not use an AI. Please use it. You can use it to gain an insight, to gain an understanding. But if you want to excel something, if you want to learn something, please do it by yourself. Maybe that's wrong several times. Maybe you will submit your assignment uh, 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 just in a way that if you think that how to score that, you cannot score an assignment even 10 points out of 100. That's okay because it's your own work, not a work copied from a machine. And the good thing about all these assignments and all these activities, jobs that you're doing, is to enhance your critical thinking, that you have to think critically and assess the data critically. This is one of the skills which machines cannot think that way yet. And it's a long way, and I assure you that machines will not think like humans never. So whatever is people they're saying is just a point of making money in businesses out of these concepts. This is the highest intelligence that these machines right now have it. For example, these very developed LLMs, large language models, for example, right now ChatGPT is using or other things. Yeah, they may be they will make it much more intelligent. But one of the, for example, in machine learning, still machine learning is a process that you should develop a model which should predict something, for example. And ChatGPT is doing it very well in comparison to the human beings. So we will learn this model separately later on, that you will develop a model which will predict something. You have a data, you want to predict something. That prediction is done by the machines, by the AI, very good, excellent in comparison to the human beings. But what lacks machines, uh, there's a point in machine learning that you have to fine tune the model. For example, machine develops a model, accuracy of that model prediction is 89%. You want to increase the accuracy of the model from 89% to 92%. That part, which how to fine tune the model, if you assign the machine to do it or artificial intelligence to do it, for artificial intelligence, it will take hours and hours and hours to do it, because it thinks just theoretically based on the whatever he understands. So and then and it starts trying, trial error, trial error. It takes a huge amount of time. But human beings, because they have critical thinking, they have those uh, uh, um, 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 super intelligence. They can just looking at the models, and they can just say, okay, let's fine tune this part of the model, and it works like this. This is still why they're hiring machine learning scientists, machine learning engineers in very large companies. So let's stick to what humans have and try to enhance that, invest on it, and um, add it, add value to it. So instead of just copying something or getting all these codes and then just pasting it somewhere, you can do it. That's not a problem. But it's very easily distinguishable. Right now, for example, if you're applying in Western companies online to any job opportunity, there is a coding section there. And in the coding section, uh, automatically they can detect how a human can write a code in Python and how a machine can write it. Machine can do it very easily for you, and 100% the response will be uh, uh, um, appropriate response to that question. But whenever it's coming to the getting that job, you will not be succeeded to get that job. So, for example, from this assignment that we had last week, data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. You know, the important part is that machine can lead you to generate knowledge, even generate knowledge from the data sets. But wisdom is something. It depends on the human intelligence. It depends on the emotional intelligence which a human has, and it depends specifically on the human side, how he or she can think about the knowledge that he or she has. So let's proceed with the Python. We will be starting with I'll be sharing my screen. We will be starting with very basics of Python. And let me, this is the screen. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yeah, now it's visible.
Okay. Okay, all of you, please just open a blank uh, notebook in your collab. I hope everyone knows how to do it. Yeah. Okay. I hope everyone now has an open collab notebook. We will be starting with inserting a text here, and let's call this, for example, variables. What is actually variables in Python? Variables actually, it's like ABC in Python. Yeah. So in any language. So if you're starting with variables, so you will have with alphabet. So variable is one type of alphabets within the language, within the Python that you have to learn first. What is variable? Variable is you can assign anything, any value. For example, you want to assign something to something else. So for example, there is age. I have age assigned to, for example, 18. So this age is now a variable. So this is type of variable. For example, you can have height, for example, 1.8. This is a variable, yeah? Height is a variable. So 𝗗𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗃. You can have name for example, Ahmad, but it won't work. If you want to assign a variable a text, so then this is also text, this is also text, this is also text. How the program should know that this is specific a variable, specific, there is a specific text there. You have to put it the cows by partinish, the cows, yak donochun yo yak. So parenthesis. So you have to put it there. Uh, or for example, Ahmad is a student or not. Python doesn't understand yes, no question. Instead of language in English, we have yes, no question. In Python, we have true, false. So either true, either false. Keep in mind that true and false, the T should be capital. This T should be capital. So these are types of variables. You can assign any variable, any value. So you have a variable and you have a value. So this is how Python works. Now, let's think about it, that let's see the data types. Yeah? We learned the data types. In order to understand which variable has which data type and how, in what is it, actually the data types, it was also part of one of assignments that we had previously. You can just simply type, you cannot type 18. You should bring the age. This is the variable. This is the variable. This is the variable. This is the variable. And these are the values to each variable. These are the values. Each variable can has different types of values. So let's type age, yeah? Now it's getting connected because we just recently created this notebook. See, it says connecting, so it's connected. So first we have to run this, then we have to run this. So this age is integer, see? This type of variable, which is just a value, that's called integer, okay? Let's see, for example, height. What is the data type of height? Height is called float. Look, both of them are integers. Both of them are numbers, yeah? Both of them are numbers, numerical values. But in Python, one is integer, which doesn't have any decimal after it. And another is which is has decimal fraction numbers. It's called float. So be careful whenever you're dealing with mathematical calculations in Python to have understand the different type of data. Why it's important? Because whenever you're loading a data set, you have to keep in mind uh, the different types of values within that uh, mm, data set, different types of variables of the columns within that data set. For example, in our last assignment, we had uh, .info. Yeah, .info. There was a method we applied there, and why that was important? Because we wanted to know actually what is the different types of data existing or under all those columns. Let me, if I have that file, so Google Drive, if I have this one, look, we applied this info method. This info gives us the type of the type data type. See, this is integer. This quantity is integer. It means there will be not any floating quantity. What does it mean, floating quantity? It means there will be not any fraction quantities. Everything will be just solid numbers. See, this quantity. This price per unit is floating. See, float. Uh, Price per unit. Where's price? See, this is 50. You can have 50.5, 50.1, 20.1, 55, 75.32, whatever. So these are the price per unit, a type of float here. See, this is float. And others are objects. So objects are we will be coming to that type of objects. Now, type name. Yeah. And this is it's called a string. And this string and object, they are the same. So this string and this object, which they are same, they are the same thing. D type, yeah. So this is the same thing, but it's called string because this is text. See, and if it's not text, see here, you have a mix of text and number, but still it calls object. Object means that this is type of categorical value, and a string means that it's absolutely actually a type of text here. Both of them are categorical value. If you want to type is student, yeah, there is a variable called is student. This is called Boolean. Boolean data type is a data type which says yes, no questions. So yes, no questions or in Python called Boolean. Boolean means yes, no. Why it's very important? It's very important whenever it comes to the some of the logical calculations in Python. For example, whenever you're going to machine learning and algorithming, um, for example, you will be predicting something. Yeah, that prediction you will be having yes, no. So this will happen or not happen or not happen. So those yes, no are all Boolean type of data. Within the data sets, different data sets, you will be facing with this. And also, whenever there are some conditions you are putting, for example, you're saying if this is something like this, if statements. If statements are all playing with Boolean type of data. If this condition is met, which is if it means it's true, then do this. Other, if it's false, so do something else. So this is how the different types of data variables are existing in Python. Now let's do something else. We have x equal to 5, yeah? And now we have x equal to something, for example, let's put it hello. I want to know now, okay, let's run this, okay? I want to know now what is the value of x. What will be the value of x here? Who can tell me? The final value of x will be
Hello.
we will see now what will be here. It will be hello. Why? Python has a dynamic assigning of of uh, of uh, um, variables. So dynamically, you can assign the variable. You can you assign variable. For example, now look at here. If I put x equal to 5, I run this, and then I call x here. Look at this. It is 5. Then I run this cell. Then this one, it become hello. This is called dynamic assigning of variables. It means Python just going by the line. So first line, if you assign something a variable, a value of 5, then you change it to another value, Python will be taking the last value of it. So this is how dynamic assignment of variables of work are working in Python. So good. Um, Similarly, for example, yeah, a bit difficult one. X is now 10, assume, yeah, and x is x plus 5. Now tell me what will be the result.
15.
15.
15. This is how the dynamic assigning type of x is working actually. See? So I hope you understand how the assignment and reassignment is working within the Python. You can assign similar variables to similar values. For example, instead of assigning, okay, a equal to 5, b equal to 10, c equal to 15, you can just say very b, c equal to 5, 10, 15. So Python is intelligent sufficiently to understand, for example, that A is assigned to this one, B is to this, so by order it assigns everything. So now C, let's try. C should be 15, yeah, if it worked properly. Now see, it's so you can assign as a multiple variables in one line as well. And you can assign to lots of variable only one value as well. For example, you can assign A equal to B equal to C and equal to 5. So all those A, B, C, these are all what? These are all variables. C, this is the value. There's 5, this is the value. In Python, understand this, that, for example, C, Python understands that these are variables, and this is the value. Um, okay, now it's based on what we have learned about. Let's try something else. Do you know what is BMI? BMI is a very standard example in Python. Everyone is doing that.
Yeah, it's a body mass function as far as I know,
E-
and it calculates
Exactly.
the whole. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Girls, I think, yeah, most
okay.
of them, they know that. Yeah. So how it's calculated actually? It's calculated that the weight is divided by the uh, square of the height. Yeah. Then that BMI is calculated. Then based on the BMI, which is body mass index, they are thinking, they are getting about nutrition diets and all those other nutrition proper diets and foods and all those things. But let's do that and see how, for example, we can assign the variables. We can have weight. Weight of a person, for example, is 70. Height of a person is, for example, 1.8. And now calculate the BMI. Yeah. How to calculate the BMI? BMI is, what is the formula for the BMI? BMI, as I mentioned, is the weight divided by the height square. Yeah. So weight that we had there divided by height. This is called the square in Python. These arithmetic calculations, we will be learning that. So these are 2 by 2. It means مربع, square of this height. Now just print what? Print BMI. Yeah. BMI is actually 21.6. This is how it calculates. So this was a small example of how assigning a variable different values. So now you can change the weight of a person. If a weight of a person is 85 kilogram, the height is still this. You can just run it. It gives you 26. If a height of a person is 1.7 meters and the weight is 85, it gives you something 29. So here you read. This is that the variables can get different values and give you the result for that based on the formula that you have assigned. So this is why variables and values are playing a key role in Python. Now, after the variable that you understand now the variable, if you have different, we saw this. See, this is, we had several variables with one value. But if we have one variable with several values, if I have, for example, we saw that, yeah, this is variable A, B, C, and we had only one value for it. So we worked with all till now with one value. But if I have a variable which is A, but it has different what? Different values. So 10, 18, 21. These are all the values for this variable. So variable A will has sometimes a value of 10, sometimes a value of 18, sometimes value of 21. How to do that? So if someone understands mathematics, this is called list. Yeah, and just put it in a list. That only one variable, which is, for example, my list, has three values. If one variable has three values, that's how we're calling it a list. The good thing about Python is that Python is not just only dealing with numeric lists, but Python can deal with any type of value within the list. So you can have um, you can have a mixed list. For example, one Ahmad, which was the string, a float number 3.5, and a value of true, which is Boolean. So different types of values you can have in a list. Python understand that, not a problem. Now let's have a list of fruits, for example. What are now seasonal fruits in Kabul?
Apple, banana,
Apple is now is that the season of apple? Is it? Say برا ماذا Kabul.
Pomegranate. Pomegranate.
أنار برا ماذا؟ وقت أنار است؟
Yeah, professor.
بسیار خانم
انار
نیست. کدام است؟
استاد انار
دیگه چی است؟
بسیار ارزان است.
انگور.
Grapes, yeah? So we have seasonal fruits. دیگه؟ What else?
Grape.
What else?
Apples.
What else؟ خلاص أنا میوه فصلیموس فعلا. So this is the list. This is the list of the seasonal fruits right now we have. Now we have a variable which is called fruits, and we have a list of different values for that list. See, different ones. The thing is, we previously mentioned. Please mute yourself. The thing we previously mentioned that whenever you are putting fixed strings in a list, you have to put it in otherwise Python will not understand that this is a value and not a variable. If it is not if it's not within the parentheses, so it means that's a variable. Now, if you put it like this, Python understand that this is now a value, not a variable actually. Okay. Now, I want to know, so we put it in an order, yeah? Order way, or maybe not an order way, but still we want to put it there. I want to know from this list, the second element. So this list has three elements, yeah? Element 1, element 2, element 3. I want to understand what is the element 3 of this list. You know how Python understands the order? Python,
Yeah, it's an index.
exactly. Indexing is first thing that you have to understand. You know Python how Python is doing indexing? Python is not calculating from one. Human beings, we are calculating it from one, yeah? So we are saying, okay, element number one is pomegranate. Element number two is grapes. Element number three is apple. Python doesn't understand this. Python says no. Element number one for Python is 0. So this 0, which is there as a number, for Python, that is an element. It says that, okay, Python calculation of Python is starting from 0, not from 1. As humans are starting from 1, computer starts from 0. So this is 0. Element 0 is pomegranate. Element 1 is grapes. Element 2 is apple. So whenever someone, a human being asking you, access the element, for example, within this variable, within this list. It's not a variable, it's a list. Why list? Because it has several values. So now in list of fruits, I want to access which element? Element number 2. Okay, this is 1, this is 2, yeah? From my perspective, from human being perspective. From Python perspective, it will be 0, 1. So you should put 1. If you just print it, sorry, we have to put it in print. That to access it.
I think we
You
have
didn't
to
have
run
it.
the previous cell.
If we run fruits, so what does it mean run? If you don't run it, Python doesn't understand what we have written, so we forget to run it. All the time when you run it, it adds to the memory of Python. Okay, we have now a new list called fruits. Now, if you want to print fruits, for example, 1, which is element 2, it gives you grapes. Okay. Put, for example, 0 for us, for human beings. It doesn't make sense, but for Python, it makes sense. It gives you pomegranate. Put it number 2, it gives you apple. See, the third element. Put it number 3, it says list index out of range. It means there is no element 3. It means number 4 is not existing there. So nothing is there. So it will be an index error. See, this is a type of error called index error. Good. But if we have, for example, a long list of elements, for example, other types of fruits,
Pineapple, mango, cherry.
yeah, boys doesn't understand this, you know. They know the very specific ones.
Mango, Professor.
Cherry, okay, mango. And orange. Okay. Now you want to just you just need orange right now. I mean, this element. Now, in order to find this element in this list, huge list, I have to calculate it from this way, yeah? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I will put element 6 will be, sorry, 0, 1, 2. Oh, we didn't run this, sorry. We first have to run it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Element is orange, the sixth element. But Python understands something else very well. If you have a long list, Python can go from this side as well. So from right side, it also read the element of. So this is -1.
Yeah.
You just run -1. it gives you orange. If you want to -2, it means from the end, the second element. From the end, the second element. It's mango. From the end, the third element, for example. So Python can do both ways. Yeah, the proper way understanding, and also from the backside understanding, the indexing the elements. Now we have, for example, we have something and we want to add. Oh, we forget. We said, oh, I want to add a new element to this list. I just remember that we forget a new type of fruit that we have to, for example, add it there. Yeah. Let's add, for example, blackberry. Yeah. To this element. Okay, good. I want to add to this list a new element of fruit, which is called blackberry or blueberry or whatever. Fruits. In which position I want to add this blueberry? Okay. In position 0. I want to add what? Blueberry. If you run this, and then you run fruits, blueberry is added to position 0 instead of, so we have pomegranate, yeah? So it just changed the pomegranate to blueberry, then it continued the same way. So this is how you can change, modifying the list elements. So you can easily modify any list elements in any position. But I don't want to do that. I want to keep the pomegranate. Okay. Pomegranate, I want to keep it. And run this. I want to run this. I want to run this. Okay, good. Pomegranate, let's keep pomegranate at position 0. I want to, for example, at position 0, or maybe not at position 0, just want to add into this list, into this fruits, that blueberry. It's called the function called append. If you just run append, it adds the blueberry to the list of fruits. See, pomegranate, grapes, apple, banana, cherry, mango, orange, and blueberry at the end. Here, it added the blueberry instead of changing it. But you can also change in a very specific way where to add, for example, this blueberry. You can say, okay, fruits dot insert position 1 kiwi, for example. Yeah. If you run this and then you run fruits at position 1, a specific position, append. What was the function of append? Append added to the end of the list. Yeah, something. We added blueberry to the list to the end of the list. But if you want to add a specific element in the position 1, so this is position 0, this is position 1. In this position, add that one, and then the remaining of the list, you can use the insert function. So in this list, we inserted a new element called kiwi at the position 1. And then it didn't affected the other elements. The other elements continue the same way. So it just changed a specific way. So this is how you can modify the elements within a list. And similarly, you can remove elements from the list. For example, you can just say specific element. Fruits, for example, remove what? Remove kiwi. If you run it, and then let's see what happened to fruits. There is no kiwi, see? kiwi is removed. As if you just remove a specific one, or you want to remove from fruits an element that you don't know, but you want to just remove element number 4. That's it. See? Element number 4. Now, take the fruits. There is no cherry here. See? Number 4 has been removed. This is how removing the elements work. So these are all whatever is coming. For example, this dot pop, dot remove, dot insert, dot append. These are all called methods. But we also have functions as well. You can just say del fruits, for example, element 0. So it means that you will be just removing from fruits the element 0, which is pomegranate. We have removed. So you can use functions and methods. These are called methods. These are called functions. We will be coming to that, what's function, what's method later on, but this is how the elements are working. Different elements are working. There are some other functions for the lists as well that you have to understand. For example, you have a long list, long list of elements in a list of values. You just want to know how many elements are there in a list. Okay, there's a simple function called len. If you just run it, it gives you 6 elements. So this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from indexing point of view. But from element point of view, there are 6 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this list of fruits has 6 elements within it. This is called the length of element of a list. So you can sort a list. Fruits dot sort simply, and look at fruits now. It's sort. See, apple, which is starting with A, it's now A. Banana, which is starting with B, it's the second element now. Blueberry, what was added at the end, is now here. And this sorting is also working because this is BA, the second element. It gets the second element as well, the second alphabet as well. And this is BL. See? So this BA is now the first, BL is the second. Then grapes, mango, and orange. So it sorts the elements of the list as well. And we have a list. And simply you want to reverse all the elements. So all the elements are reversed. Orange is now first, mango is second, grapes is this, blueberry, banana, apple. So you can just reverse all elements in a list. Similarly, for example, if we have a list of numbers, which is a list of 1, 4, 5, 9, 12, and you want to this number sorted, yeah, and you want the numbers back. This is how it's sorted. Now it was sorted actually, so let's do it like this. Put 9 here, 4 here. So 1, 4, 5, 9, 12. So sorts this list of numbers for you,
Excuse me, sir.
please.
Sorry for disturbance. Could you please zoom your screen a little bit?
My screen a little bit.
Yes, sir. I did it from my side, but still, they're not all the variables and all things is very, very small, sir.
أستاذ فكرة بس قسمتي tools میتونیم که سایز جیره کلام کنیم
هنا كلام شد يقصد بينجوز. There's
و مرسل جان فکر کنم شما میتونین زومین کنین از لپتاپ خودتون
نی ولی شما بر شما الکلام نشان میده میره؟
مشکل نداره استاد من خودم زومین کردم
نه تو زومین تو پس ببین که اون فرمایش که به ما آمد که گفت که شما اسکرین تا زوم کنین ولی مو پورا شد.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Is it visible now? Yeah.
Yes,
it is.
Yes, sir.
Good. So I just did it from here. Okay. So now this is how you're sorting the elements of numbers. Yeah, within a now how we want to from a list of numbers, for example. Yeah. It's called slicing the list. Slicing the list means that I need only this portion of the list. This is a huge list of numbers. Of these numbers, I need only 3 elements from this position to this position. That's called slicing. So how slicing works? Slicing works, it means starting index, you have to put the starting index, and you have to put the ending index. But ending index is not inclusive in Python. You have to add this one. If you have to add this one, then it will select only this one. So the ending index is not inclusive, it's exclusive. For example, if I have this list, let's extend this list to 15, 29, 33, and 11. Now I have the sorted list of numbers. Within this number, I want to select numbers from 9 to 15. Yeah. How to select that? So I will just want to print the numbers from which position to which position.
from 3 up to 5
So 9, the position of 9 is 0, 1, 2, 3. Position of 9 is 3. And then you have to put two columns. 9, this is position to 15. Position of 15 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But ending position is exclusive. If I want to 15 to be included in the list, then I have to go 1 added to that. So it means I have to take the position of 7. Because the ending the end position is exclusive, it's not included in the slicing segment, in the slicing. See, 9, 11, 12, 15. So this 7. So this is actually this is the 6th position. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I put 7. If you put 6 here, it will get 1 minus of it. So that's because it's not inclusive. This is called slicing. Or, for example, you want to print numbers from position, for example, from position from 9, from 15 to 33. So let's find the position. Slicing works not with the elements, but with the positions, with the index. We will be coming how to work it if you want the specific elements with the position. Right now we are just dealing with the positions, with the indexing. in order to find the 15 position of 15, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we will be putting, sorry, 6 to 7, 8, and if I want to have 33, I have to put it 9. I understand that there is no 9th element existing, but if you want 33 to be included into it, so you have to do it like this. If you just put it 8, then 33 is not included because that's exclusive. This is how slicing works. It's really important. It's very necessary that you have to understand the slicing, because all the time you will be dealing with it. It works differently with different elements as well. So you can say from -1 to, for example, let's put it this way. Okay, let's don't touch this one. Create another one, for example. When you're going from the slicing from the right to left and left to right, so we will be coming to the left to right with the, not with the numbers, but with the strings. So, did someone wrote all these variables? Whatever
Yes.
we have discussed, did someone wrote it everything?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. So
Yes, me too.
we have it. It means we have a whole up notebook that you wrote all these what we have done. Yeah,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
good. Okay, before finishing this and going to the next lesson, we will take a 5 minutes break as well. But I will be just finishing with this slicing. I think it's now finished. I'll just give you one more thing here. For example, if we just put -1, which we say, yeah, from this list, this -1, this is -1. So automatically it should come to the -4, yeah? So this is -1, -2, -3, -4. So it should give you a list of 33 to 12, yeah? Generally. But it gives you a list of empty. Why? Because whenever you are slicing from the minus to positive, so if you're doing that, you have to define one more thing in Python. That's called the step, because if the elements are coming from this side to this side, from this side to this side, Python understands that it will go one by one. From this side, which is unusual, Python wants to know how to come down from -1 to -4, how to. چند پت از این پایان شوم؟ دو پت، سه پت، یک پت. So how many steps? I will say, okay, just take one step. So it will give you 33, 29, and then 15. See, this is -1, -2, -3, -4 all the time. We mentioned that the last element is exclusive. -4 is not included. So it gives you, so okay, now let's go to the it came from this -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6 is not included. See, just to 11. So, but we defined that it should come one step down. Let's define that it should come two steps down. What it will say? 33 دو پتا پایان میشه. So it will just so because we have defined the steps 2. But it will not be included 29, so directly it will go to the 15. It will not be included 12, it will be going to the 11. So this is how the negative slicing working in Python. If you have long lists. I think this is now. Please mute yourself. Thank you. So we will be just now. It's. Let's take 5 minutes break. I'm here, but at 2 we will be starting our next lesson, which is called basics of functions in Python. So you have to understand some functions as well. What are functions? So now you understand very well all the type of variables. Yeah. So you understand variables. You have understanding the lists. You now understand how to put the elements in a list, add an element into the list, just change an element, modify an element within a list, and all these things. Okay, we will be here within 5 minutes. Okay. I will go through some questions if there are. 𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, you had a question? 𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 سوال داریم؟ ندارم. مرسل رشیدی, have a question?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So my question is that, like, as you said that, I mean, we can work in the same way by using PyCharm as well. But I had a question that while using PyCharm, because previously I have been using PyCharm, and we like write the variable print. I mean, we write like the print code each time that we want to run our code. But I mean, like what you did in Google Colab, like you used, I mean, the print statement very like how can I say? I mean, rarely, like in the last steps, like you use that. But in the previous ones, I mean, in the first ones, you didn't use like the print statement. Like I was wondering that can we do the same thing with PyCharm or no?
It doesn't. It's not about the environment that you are working with and which environment you're working. It depends on the version of Python that you're working with. That's important. So we are using Google Colab. If your PyCharm is locally installed, and you have to understand your version of Python. Maybe you're using very older version of Python. You can just update your Python version. Google Colab
No, I
is
think
an online resource, and it
yeah.
uses the recent version of Python all the time, and one of the stable
Mhm.
version of Python. So this is, it depends on that, but still you can use that, I think, uh, without any problem. Um, um,
Mhm.
Mahdavi, Umaid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So in regards to negative indexing, while slicing a list, what if we start with a negative number, which is less than -1? So -4 is less than -1. If we take it as a starting point there and choose -1 as the ending index, how is this possible uh, to take the last element in a list included, not excluded? So I'm trying to do that. So I choose
Yeah, no.
-4 as in starting index, then -1. Then it is not possible to.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
because
I
it's not
took the
possible.
step 1.
You know, it's not a
It is not
mathematical.
possible.
Yeah, yeah, it's not possible because it's not a mathematical understanding. So I understand what you're saying from mathematics point of view. So you should go from the least, which is -4, to the -1, which is bigger than -4. This is your mathematical logic. But this is not the mathematical logic here. It's indexing logic. It's position. So if you start from this,
Yes.
if you start from this side,
Mhm.
yeah, this is now about the position. This is not about the mathematics. So just forget the mathematics here. For Python, for example, it's now indexing. And indexing means for Python, if you're starting from this way, so actually it is 1, 2, 3, 4. But you started from this way, it put a minus there, a -1 there. Actually, that's just a sign there, but that's not that mathematical minus that you're thinking. It's just showing that I'm calculating it not from left to right, I'm calculating it from right to left. This is why it's not the mathematical one that you're thinking. It's just the positioning, indexing. Muhammad Habibi.
Yes. So the solution. Yeah.
Uh,
This.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. It was quite interesting. Although the basic of all the fundamentals for the languages in programming are the same, there are quite like little differences. Although I got everything, but I want to know that would you please provide any like syllabus for the reference? Shall guys who are interested to just follow the based on the syllabus. So like today we discussed about the variables, and also there were like lists and that are like a single dimension array. We can say that, and also further. So if there is any kind of syllabuses, that will be very interesting.
Okay, we will be coming in regard to the syllabus, but just when our thing was that let's start first with something, then you will be providing the syllabus and additional links as well. Uh, so the main syllabus for Python is actually this Python documentation. Python documentation docs.python.org. It's one of the brilliant resources that you can have. If you go there and you have Python tutorials, so uh, you can get anything here. So um, starting from different things. But this is a huge amount of data. So it's very difficult to just, for example, memorize all of these things. See, this is, for example, the lists today that we hear. We indexing returned item. See, this is item number. These are all the things that we studied today. Yeah? So different aspects of this. But the thing is that this is a huge number of documentations. Look at it. All of them are very difficult to just read them. This is why you're just developing some specific small number of activities that is relevant to ourselves, what we need actually. But we will be providing the resources. One of the resources is the Python .org, the official tutorial of Python. That's one of the resources. I think W3 School everyone uses. I also used it when I learned Python. And where's Python here? This is Python. So this is another good resource for Python learning. This is called w3schools.com, and one of the brilliant things which I saw. Look, it starts from variable C, Python variable C. These are the things that it's a very good. So you can have your own account here and learn Python here. So I like this one, but it depends on everyone. So who likes what? See, this is a list, standard list. Apple, banana, cherry. So look at this. Try it yourself. If you click this, it opens like this, and you can just play with it. For example, you can add, for example, here, key. Let's add it. Yeah. If you run it, it gives you the result here as well. See, it gives you the result here. So it's almost something like a mini Python within this. Here you can do that. So these two resources I used a lot when I was studying, and both of these resources helped me. I prefer both of them. Okay, let's start with the functions. We will be starting with the functions right now. And we want to know what's actually the functions. Functions are actually the reusable codes. You want to put a function there, and instead of repeating it and later on in your code, you just want to name a portion of code, a function, and then run that function on any other later on variables you want to use it. So using a portion of code, freezing it, and applying it specific that logic in that function multiple times. The good thing about function is because it performs a specific task. So you have to define a specific block of code that it should do a specific task for you. For example, BMI, we previously used to calculate the BMI body mass index here. We could use it as a function instead of just defining the variables for it. And then if you run that function and put the weight and height of a specific person, it will just calculate for you, for example, the BMI. The good thing about function is that its readability is very important because it breaks code into smaller chunks and understandable parts. And it's modularity. Modularity means makes codes easier to debug and maintain. So if you have a very long uh, uh, codes, length of codes, so and you don't have functions there, so whenever there is an error there, it will be very difficult for you to go through all the code from the A to Z. But if you have functions, you will just go to that specific function and see how and where the error is and how to reduce them. So, for example, how to define a function. First of all, we have to define a function. So the main thing about definition of a function is just you have to put a def at the beginning. It means that you want a function to be defined. And after that, you have to put a name for the function. So what is the name for the function? For example, my function. And then after that, what you have to put? You have to put, for example, parameters and arguments within this function. So you will be having parameters, you will be having arguments. So these are the things that you can put within the function. But let's just make it an empty function. And this is how an empty function just works. For example, if you say define greeting, yeah, for example, and within this function, they should print, for example, hi. Yeah. So let's run this one. Whenever I'm calling function greeting, it will give me this result here. This I will be printed all the time. So if I'm calling this function I define this function, yeah? I define that there will be a function called greeting, and all the time this function will print hi. Yeah. So now I want to recall the function. So calling a function is just put this name of the function with these. You know why? Because right now we don't have any parameters, but later on we would be having parameters here. Now it's empty, yeah? So it's an empty without any parameters. It will be just printing for you this hi all the time. For example, so we can define whatever functions we have. Because why all the time? Because this is a reusable portion of code which can be used multiple times. So if you just look at your chats, so you see everyone asks when the class starts, when the class starts. No one just look at the chat, yeah, when it starts. But you can I'm just assuming that this is how within the Python, you can have a small function for it, and whenever that function runs in a specific app, for example, type, or in a specific programming interface, it will just give you the specific, for example, timing of it. So this is how functions actually work and how you can call a function. Now you're coming to the parameters. What is parameter? Parameters are variables listed inside the function's parentheses. So these are the function parentheses, yeah? Within these parentheses, whatever we are writing it, that's called parameters. We can define more, for example, more things. Look at this greeting function that we had, yeah? We defined greeting function. And we here define one more thing here. We define name. So previously we had a function. It was just saying hi. Yeah. Now we want to say a function that it says hi and the name of the guy. Okay. What it should print? This function. This function should print the hi plus the name of the specific person that we want. Yeah. So it means it should say hi plus name plus like this. Yeah. It should say hi whatever. Now, if you just say greeting Ahmad, all the time, it says hi Ahmad. So we define a greeting function that it will just take the name of the guy, and then after the name of the guy, it will print all the time hi. Instead of all the time saying hi, 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 hi to anyone, you can just have Ahmad greeting, and then it will print hi Ahmad with this. And you can have anyone else, for example. Yeah. Hi, for example. So this is how the functions work with a parameter. This name, that's parameter. It's called parameter of the function. Now, within the functions, we can have different parameters. For example, let's define a function that if you just give it two numbers, it will make a sum of it. Yeah. Define a function called add a and b. What is a and b? A and b is actually the parameters. Yeah. Instead of using the print statement, yeah, all the time, you can just use return statement. Yeah. So what this function should return to us? The function should return to us a plus b. It should add two numbers. Okay. Now, if I run this and I say, okay, 2, 5, it will give me 7. Similar to the print all these ones, but generally, return statement is one of the main elements within a function. If you want to apply any further operations on a specific function, we have also, as I mentioned, this is a and this is b. These are called parameters here in this function. We can have default parameters as well, and we can have variable parameters as well. So for the default parameters, you can just put here a specific, for example, in this name, yeah. So in this greeting name, you can have all the time, for example, one name. I this one, yeah, this specific guy. While, for example, if there is a apartment, there is a room, there is a specific disk reserved for a specific person. So all the time you want to just print that specific person with that specific name, for example. So all the time you will be printing a default name for it. For example, what is default name? For example, there will be a variable, but a default variable. Look at this example of greeting. I will just write it again for you in order that you understand what is the default one. I have a name, but I want that this function will all the time print for me �値, but also give me a flexibility that maybe I will use some other names as well. If I run this greeting function without any parameter, see, without any parameter, just blank, it will give me the default �値 name, which is I defined. See? So by default, if it's an empty function, I didn't define any parameter, it gives me �値, high �値. But if I define Ahmad, it will give me the name Ahmad. So these are, you can set default values for the parameters within a function as well. You can have functions with multiple parameters, as we did, yeah? See, here we had a function with multiple variables here, a plus b. For example, multiply x, y, two variables, yeah? What will be the return statement for this? Just multiply x by y. So if I call the function multiply, for example, 3 and 6, it will be 18. It will automatically multiply it. So I have two parameters here. So this is how you can have two parameters, three parameters, whatever you want. Now, for the 𝗑 function that we had, yeah, previously, let's define a function called 𝗑, yeah. For 𝗑, in order to calculate the 𝗑, what we need? We need
Weight and
weight of
height.
the guy and height of the guy, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. And what this function should return to us? It should return to us all the time that the weight divided by height squared. This is the 𝗑 function. Now, let's call 𝗑 function. Weight of the guy is 17, height is 1.8. Run.
There was a spelling error, Professor, in the height.
Exactly. Weight and height. All the time, I do the same job. Just I will do the copy.
Sir, I think before the parenthesis, open the parenthesis, forward slash, there shouldn't be a space. There shouldn't be a space.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. It's working. It was the height. There was a spelling problem. This height should be this. I just mixed the GHT here. This is what. Now it works properly.
Teacher, what is BMI?
BMI is body mass index. BMI is actually it's a type of index that used for understanding that if a person is overweight or not overweight. یک اندکس به خاطر از اینکه معلوم کنه که انسان لاغر است، چاق است یا میانه وزن است. یک تناسق را بین قد و وزن انسان محاسبه میکنه.
درست شد، شکر.
یا از او خاطر این اکثرا استفاده میکنن، دختر خانم ها زیاد استفاده میکنن. So this is
Sorry, sir. Can we use something to round this number? Is it possible?
to round which number?
To round the final number. I mean, reduce the decimals.
We can do that, but the point is I'm just right now focusing on how the function works. So you can make it very easily. You can put a round for it. For example, for this number, you can do it a round one as well. How to round this? Okay, you can say round. There is a function called round. Yeah, this function, this whole function to 1 point decimal or 2 point decimal. Let's make it to 2 point decimal. Yeah. So you can just put it as in a print calculation as well. So you can use the round function for it. There is no problem with that. But first of all, you have
Okay, so thank you.
rounded BMI should be equal to you got it how you can use the round function here. The rounded BMI function we used. You got it or not?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good. So you can use it as a BMI function. But right now we will be just calling the BMI function 70 in 1.8. And this function will be the BMI function. Yeah, we can have it rounded as well into 2 decimal places, but you see if you go to the 2 decimal places, still it will be 0 because 49 and we have to define more decimal places. But still you can have it like that. The main point in this function is just you can have a BMI function, how to call it and how to run it. So this is the understanding of functions, I think. Now going to the next step of these functions, that these are the functions that we have defined. Yeah. For example, we defined at the beginning this function. Now let's, for example, as you mentioned, the rounded one, let's do it and put it automatically within this function. You have a function of BMI function weight, height, and it defines, it calculates like this. Yeah. Now let's do it within the function if you want it to be rounded. Yeah. Let's do it within the function that the result should be rounded, for example, to 2 decimals. So let's put the round. That all whatever is within this should be just rounded. So it's now 2 places. See, you can put the rounded function within the function as well instead of putting the print. But this what does it mean? What we put within the function. All the time that we are calling the function, it will get rounded to 2 decimal places. But this was the actual one. We just wanted to do it for only one specific result. But this is for the whole, for all the time whenever we are asking the calling the function. So these are preliminary understandings of functions. There are we will be going to the default list of functions within the Python. I think for today the lesson is to this point. I will be sharing with you also the notebook for what we have done. So tomorrow we'll be starting from the default functions within the Python and also a list of methods that we are having within the Python. That these are playing a key role, the methods and the functions. These are the things that you have to at least learn it. And if you code on daily basis, and you will memorize it. So this is very important things. So please read all those ones, and we will be step by step going for the different functionalities, different aspects of Python. I think the okay, Mursal Rashidi, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I was going to ask you that, like, our first assignment was to create some accounts in Kaggle, in Google Colab, in GitHub, and also in Tableau, something like this. I'm sorry, I'm like pronouncing it wrongly. And we have like created these accounts. So how to like submit our works there? Because there was an option to submit our work, to
Yeah.
mark it as work
Yeah.
as that.
Yeah. A bit patience, please. We will do it step by step. So when the necessary time is coming, at least if you have done something, and then we will be in the position to upload something there, and we will guide you how to do it. But let us first do something, yeah? So whatever we are going to do during the class, these assignments, all these things, we will be fine-tuning all those ones. And when it is ready properly, and then we will be asking you how to upload it, and I will show you a demo how to upload it actually. No worries. Habibi,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you, 𝗗𝗃𝘃. It was very interesting. As I so okay. Sorry for the disturbance. In other languages, there are like a need for the declaration of the functions, but here it was stated that there was no need for the declaration to declare first the function in Python. That was interesting. And also there are like we can call the function by reference as well as by value. So is there any like the same within the Python, we can call the function by the reference as well.
But actually, the thing is, the Python is a bit different from other languages. And the good thing about the Python is it's very easy. So all those difficulties that we had in other languages, in Python we don't have it. See, very simple. We defined it, and very simple. We called it again, and referencing we will be coming later on, but it's a part of if you're Python programming. We will be not touching it for our data analytics side. But if anyone is interested in data in Python programming, so that will be part of that. But for data analytics, I think this is what right now we are doing. We are trying to keep it simple. Thank you. So if there are Ajmal Anwari, if you have a question. So
thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
My question is that my question is about the variable name that in some other language, the variable name cannot be started by number or some special
Exactly,
characters.
it's the same for Python. It's the same for Python. You cannot assign any type of names for the variables. It should not be started with number, special characters, these things, or anything which is contradicting with